is 7 a.m. I'm still just as tired and I've not made it to the gym yet. Come on up, we have seats available on the 4th floor at the main stage. I am joined here, Rox to me are like the cheekbones of the business, right? Her face was made for rouge. So come on up, we have a lot coming up. We're going to talk about the hero's journey. We've got amazing faces and stories for you. I will be moderating, so we'll make sure we get all the deepest, darkest secrets. See you guys soon. Alright, so let's have some fun today. Obviously, I love coming back to my roots at IPSY. I'm such an hipster myself. Deep down inside, I'm always in a smoky eye, right? My inner woman is always in a smoky eye and a bold lip. And maybe that head thing you got on right there too, I see you. We have so much fun. Did anyone hit the block party downstairs? On level 2, we got the block party with the dance floor. We got glitter snow cones. Don't look at me like you don't know what a glitter snow cone is. Yeah, snow cones with glitter. Something says I'm into that kind of stuff. Alright, we're going to start out with a panel called The Hero's Journey. And no, it's not my biopic. No, it's not. Not yet, at least. I have a couple more years on me before that happens. And I'm going to be joined by some of my favorite people who I've been up here with before. And they've been through some stuff too, so I want to find out all the new things that are going on with their brands, both personally and out with the masses. Alright, why don't we welcome up? We got Jennifer Yen. Come on up. We got Chaz Dean. Come on up. I live for Chaz's new hair every time he comes. I just need to be mini Chaz and copy everything he does, right? We also have Minna Lee. Come on up, Minna. Let's give her a really warm round of applause. Minna actually has never been to anything like this with all you beautiful people before who actually know what we're making fun. So have a little seat. And then we have Roxette again. Come up, baby girl. I don't know why you're wasting your time here when you should be a pop star, right? Wouldn't you buy all the albums, right? Alright, The Hero's Journey. Why don't we go through, starting with Jen, and give a little brief on, your brand and what you're up to lately.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Yen. Thank you everyone for being here. We're so excited. So I started out my career as a former TV villainess. So I was on Power Rangers, the TV series.
Me too.
As the villainess Vipra. So this led me to having really horrific skin. I had a lot of reaction to the heavy makeup and bright lights. And at the time, nothing was working for my skin. I went to so many dermatologists and nothing was working. And I started using my grandmother's Asian beauty secrets, which led me to create my first brand, Pure Lise, inspired by her rituals. And then after giving birth to my daughter in 2014, I created YENSA Beauty, which is a superfood cosmetic. Each product is infused with 8 superfoods, because during my pregnancy, I felt really depleted and my mother was feeding me 8 black superfoods, like black tea, black rice, black sesame, black mushrooms. And I thought, how cool is this? Because it's making me feel amazing that I can infuse this into a color complexion product. And that's what actually sparked me to create my second brand, YENSA. Thank you.
2 brands. Hello. Chaz, fill us in.
Wow. So mine my passion started out in high school with photography. When I graduated high school, went to school for photography, and I realized what was missing is my vision in my head to translate to my photography. So I went to school for hair. And it took over since there. I never turned back. I've been doing this since I'm 19 years old. Gave up lather May 1st of 1993 when I opened my first salon, and I've never turned back. So I launched one product with the Wen line in November of 2000, and almost 19 years later, we have over 700 products. It keeps growing and growing.
Isn't that fabulous? How many of you are Wen fans? I've been living for the winter cranberry mint, and there's so much in there that it's becoming a summer cranberry mint. I'm like, when is it? You know when you start using more of it, because you're like, I've got to get to the bottom of this bottle, and it will not stop. So I've been having a lot of fun not lathering. I've given up lather, but not leather, because we like a YSL bit in my house. All right, Minna, let's talk about your world.
Hi, my name is Minna Lee. I'm a personal trainer, nutrition coach, blogger, and now founder of a company So my journey kind of started out, I was a former competitive figure skater for 10 years, so wellness has always been in my life. But then, yeah, wait, figure skater too? But after retiring, I worked at a desk job for a year, and my health just it fell apart. So I decided to get back into wellness, got certified as a trainer and a nutrition coach, and was helping others with their health journeys as well. But then in 2014, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's that affected my hormonal health and my thyroid. And so my body just kind of imploded, and doctors at that time were really unfamiliar with autoimmune disease and holistic wellness. And so I took it upon myself to create this product that I now call Golden Fuel. It's a turmeric and collagen golden milk blend that's designed to help with your inflammation. So it helps with everything from your internal inflammation, which then affects your skin and other parts of your beauty as well. And so now I am here kind of juggling way too many things.
Are any of you golden milk junkies? You go get that from the health food store? Yeah, I go to like Erewhon, Holden. I have to take out a loan to get that stuff. But now you can make it at home, which is so exciting. You're gonna save me all this vacation money. Thank you, babe. And Roxette, not that we care, but what are you doing lately?
So, a lot of you may not know this, may or may not, but I actually also was a competitive figure skater. And I mean, yes, honey, I didn't even know, okay. They said it here for a reason. But that's how my journey started, and I was always using lots of makeup for competitions. Whenever I would go to like national competitions, you know, you're in a big stadium, so you'd be like building up the makeup and building up the makeup. And honestly, I looked like crazy hot mess most of the time. Like I didn't know how to do my makeup. And I would be using like green on the brow bone and like just being very creative in my own ways.
Just checking.
Right?
We get creative here.
We do get creative, but I took it upon myself, I guess you could say, to try to teach myself how to apply makeup better. And when I started to improve my skills and practice, I found that I had like a big passion for it. And my friends started to actually ask for tutorials and be like, oh, like, can you teach us that? Can you teach us this? And I was like, honey, I'll put it on YouTube because you can watch it from there. I'll send you a link. And that's how I kind of got my start. And eventually, I just kept rolling with it. And yeah, now I'm here.
We're lucky to have you. You make me look so old. Okay, we're here to talk about the hero's journey. And everyone's path isn't straight, right? Especially me and Chaz. But you know, everyone's path, even where you are right now, if you're just starting or if you've actually done a few things in the world, it's not always a straight line. You want it to be, and all your thoughts are like, you know what's next for you, and then it doesn't quite happen that way. So today versus where your career started, what were some little turns in the road? Why don't we start with Minna? Because I feel like your story is really close to your heart, and you expect things to happen a certain way, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely when I became a trainer and nutrition coach at first, wellness was not what it is today. Like becoming a trainer, a lot of my friends were like, you're doing what with your NYU degree? You're gonna go work in a gym? Okay. And it didn't quite have that prestige, and it was just something that I was really passionate about, and I'm really glad that I went against the grain and just followed my heart with that, because it's then unfolded into a much more meaningful path for me. And because of the blogging, I've also been able to combine my past career of writing and content creation as well. Yeah, so that's kind of what led me here.
It's interesting when your friends think that your job isn't important enough, right? How many of you are doing things right now to get by? Because you want to be a blogger, but you have to have a job too, right? It's tough. That doesn't mean that those jobs are below other people. Oprah says it herself, and she's the queen of all of it. All of our jobs are there as part of our ecosystem to keep us all moving, and we all get to different things at different times. So there's nothing to be said about working in a gym, right? Because if you didn't work in a gym, how many great bodies would be out there walking the streets?
I'm responsible for them all.
Yes, thank you for my bit there. How about you, Chaz? Are there any bumps in the road for you?
Yeah, bumps come along. I'm a Leo. And growing up, my mom used to, well no, I'm saying it for a reason. My mom always used to worry for me. I'm like, Mom, don't worry, I'm a cat. I'll always land on my feet. Meaning, they turn around, they know how to land on their feet. But she always worried for me. She's watching over us now. She passed away of cancer 18 years ago, but she always worried, like, I have photography, I have hair. I'll always fall back on something, don't worry. But starting out growing, I was an assistant at the salon I worked at. They had their own product line, they didn't have their own deep conditioner, and I just brought it to their attention one day, and they said, well, if you want, we'll set you up at the lab if you want to help us create one. Now, I was a 19-year-old kid, I'd never done it, but I'm like, that sounds amazing, of course I'll do that. So I did that. It took about a year to launch the product, and about 6 months after we launched that one, they said, oh, this one's really great. We're thinking of doing a more natural product line, would you be interested? So I'm like, I enjoyed doing it. I didn't get anything out of it, so the second time I said, sure, but what will I get out of it? Like, well, just prove you can do it, we'll talk about that later. And in my mind, I thought, well, didn't I already do that? But I enjoyed doing it, so I still did it a second round. So I created a primrose shampoo for them, sage conditioner, rosemary conditioner for them, and at first it was called E. coli, and then they launched and changed the line as fashion form, as you know, the sexy concept fashion form. So I developed the first ever 3 products that are worldwide, and I never got anything out of that. Actually, I got a penny per bottle. Out of everybody manufactured. So, yeah, it was a learning lesson because after creating and after going through the whole process, and here's what is important, as they asked me to do it, in my mind I thought, oh, that's cool, and you think, what will I get out of it? And I was only 20 at the time, so you're thinking, maybe I'll get 15%. By the time it took me that year to create it, or a year and a half to create it, I diminished my worth in my own head. I'm like, started at 15%. As the year went on, I'm like, well, maybe 10%, maybe 5%. And I, in my own head, had dialogue of, if they give me 3%, I'd be happy. Now imagine going from 15% to 3% and then getting a contract that slid across the table from you, and it was a penny per bottle. I'm like, it was like a huge slap in the face, like how insulting, but it was that or nothing. And I thought, well, I got the experience out of it. That's them, and that's how they are as business people. I would never do that, but I had the knowledge of it. So what I did a couple of years after that, when I worked for them, they were selling the salon. And it was in Bel Air, California, YENSA. And they offered it to me. I thought, first initial was, hell no, you screwed me over A, B, and C times. There's no way you're gonna screw me over again. And then I thought about it, I went, wait a minute, this could be a successful salon. The only reason it wasn't is because the name over the door, it was a Carlton salon in Bel Air. And Carlton everywhere else was great, but not in a multi-million-dollar neighborhood. And I would always tell them, change the name to anything but that, and you would have success here. And I told them that for years, and they never listened. So when they offered me the salon, I thought, wait a minute, the only reason it's not working is because that name over the door. So I bought it. I changed the name. It was Chaz Dean Salon, because I was promoting my photography as well. And within a month, they lived in the neighborhood, and they would walk by coming for dinner. Like, it was buzzing and hopping, and they're like, what did you do? I'm like, I told you, all you have to do is change the name. That's all you have to do is change the name, but it became my success now. And I own my salon now since '93, so 26 years I own my own salon. And I'm in Hollywood now, but it's looking beyond and following your heart and your passion. And again, the main thing I want to say is, you guys are going to get screwed over. We're all going to get screwed over. You do get screwed over. But don't turn that into a negative. Turn it into a positive. And I did this for them. Imagine what I could do for myself. And that's what I thought. I created that product for them. They're worldwide multi-millionaires. Imagine what I can do doing this for myself. And that's what I did.
I love it. Where the light shines through is the blooms that are created. And no more worrying. Oprah says don't worry. Stop worrying. If you're going to climb the Grand Canyon, your mother worrying is not going to save you if you fall, right? She should just be happy that she had her time with you while you laughed. And then Jen, talk about some bumps in your road. Anything along the way?
Yes, plenty. Well, so I grew up in a small town, Alabama, and I think my first great choice was to leave that small town and attend Boston University. And you know, at the time I thought I was going to go to law school, but I struggled in college. I was having too much fun, and I was inspired to move to Los Angeles to become an actress. And then my skin was wrecked, and then I wanted to start a company, so I had no experience. I went from going to auditions to trying to start a company, so everything was working against me. This is over 10 years ago when Asian beauty secrets wasn't really well received, natural beauty wasn't well received. We didn't have you guys being voices and influencers and, you know, cheerleaders for indie beauty brands, and e-commerce wasn't where it's at today. So we got hit with the I was hit with the recession. I launched in January 2008, and I know a lot of you guys are really young, but over 10 years ago, the recession affected almost everybody, including myself, and we failed. And then, you know, when I had to pull back from the market. When I came back, I tried to come back. We were at Henry Bendel, C.O. Bigelow, Fred Siegel. And when I came back with Green Branded products, they didn't want to take us because they were scared because we were a small brand. And that's when companies like IPSY was born, and they had a whole new model. And we partnered with them. And at the time, a lot of bigger brands didn't understand this model, and I really I embraced YouTube and social media because I thought it was really cool that brands can reach out to customers, customers can reach out to brands to directly have contact. And then when we embraced that, that worked. And then I want to get back to what Daniel was saying earlier about, your jobs that you have. You have a job, but you also have a passion. So I worked at my mother's restaurant in Alabama, and looking back, when I was young, I was like, what kind of job is this? Then I worked at a clothing store, I worked at the Gap, and then in college I worked in retail stores. And at the time, they didn't seem like important jobs, but like Steve Jobs says, your life only makes sense going backwards. So looking back now, those jobs really help me today, even acting. I understand about customer service through my companies, and I did that in my mom's restaurant. And then even selling clothes, making a woman feel confident and knowing what looks good on her. I mean, those jobs are relevant to what I'm doing today. So, whatever you're doing today, keep doing it because it is going to lead you to your next milestone. And everything you do is going to lead you to your next milestone. No matter how insignificant it may seem, but it's really not.
It's interesting, it never happens right away either. You're like 15 years later, you're like, oh, that one closet clean out I did. Like, it's that weird. I say that because it's fresh in my memory. In my mind, I was always like, when I become a reality star, I'm never doing a closet clean out as a stylist again. What was I doing 2 days ago? Cleaning out a Japanese pop star's closet. Because she said to me, I don't want anyone to do it but you. And she goes, and you love doing it so much. And I was like, I hate it. But I loved it when I was 18, and I remembered, and I went back into my little 18-year-old shoes, and I was like, you used to love organizing closets, So you gotta just remember that all those little things that you do really do mean something.
Yes.
Even if they're completely unrelated. Someone you meet there makes sense in the whole scheme of it all. It'll all make sense. Okay, with that, going back, let's go back to when we were younger. Anything that you would do differently that you did in the beginning, sort of building your brand? That you maybe would feel like it would have expedited the process?
I think as a YouTuber or influencer, when you first start, it is kind of difficult to put yourself out there and really be yourself. I know that sounds very cliche, but I feel like that's something that a lot of us probably struggle with, is just kind of really and truly being yourself, expressing yourself as who you are rather than as this perfect person or as who you think that you should be. And I feel like for the first good chunk of my YouTube career, that's what I did. I tried to embody the typical YouTuber or a perfect person or a perfect girl when I'm not perfect, and to be honest, nobody is, So I think it becomes more relatable almost when you're oh, I just literally rubbed the mascara all over my nose and it's smeared everywhere. I just ruined my look. I have to wash it off and redo it. Just little things like that. I feel like I used to hide myself, and then once I started to open up and really just be more comfortable with my subscribers and followers, that's when I saw a big, a big increase in the relatability of the content. And I definitely encourage all of you guys to do the same, because that will make a huge difference for your followers, because they will see the real you, and that makes what makes you you. And I felt like the love guru there, G, you are you, the TM.
I've never thought of G, you are you. That's a good one. Can we hashtag something in there? Roxette Guru today, got it? It's an interesting moment. Do you guys watch The Real? Do you know Jeannie Mai?
Yes.
She's one of my best girlfriends, and I always go to her as a mentor because she's way older than I am. And I ask her questions constantly as I approach new projects about how she would go into it. And she gave me really good advice that said, Cardi B changed the game. And I was like, I don't want to be a rapper. Well, I do want to be a rapper, but that's never going to happen. And she said, no longer are we just looking at the camera, announcing like Ryan Seacrest and Juliana. That's not what we do anymore. We are real. We talk about things that are happening around us. If you have little gaps today, you talk about it. That's what she taught me. And she's like, that's what people want to see on Instagram, on E, They want to see it everywhere. They want to see you being you. So don't hide that stuff. Because it's funny, we want to emulate that we scroll through on Instagram all day, but that already happened. Nobody wants that, right? No, we're seeing it happen. You want to do the new thing. So think of ways that you're you. Think of ways that like your parents or your sister say, I love that about you. What is that thing? And really put that into what you do, which I know all of these beautiful people have done themselves. Anything else we really need to touch on before we disappear? Because I know we often rush away. And I know Chaz has 700 products, so. Yeah, Chaz, tell them about what you were telling me about backstage, about the more high-end line that you're doing.
Yeah, because my products evolve because of my customer. I've been on, I don't know if you know, I've been on QVC since 2005, so I'm in my 14th year on QVC, thank God. And that's what really took it to the next level, because my product, again, a cleansing conditioner, when I created, there was no such category. It was shampoo, conditioner, deep conditioners, but there was never such thing as cleansing conditioner. When I launched it, like, I knew I was onto something new, and it was a whole new category here. Now almost every line out there has a cleansing conditioner, and now I have a new line that's called Bella Spirit, which means beautiful spirit. It is my highest end line because we literally have ingredients that are made exclusively for us. The lavender water, eucalyptus water, cucumber water, 4-tea complex, white tea, green tea, red tea, black tea, 4 honey complex, manuka honey, eucalyptus honey, orange blossom honey, sage honey. So what it does for your hair, your face, your body, your skin, it's absolutely incredible. But I keep evolving. Like I look back, even my products I launched 19 years ago, the traditional sweet almond mint, to me that's like so, but people still love it. Like they've used that for 19 years. I'm like, that's great, but now I'm excited about the new stuff, but to know that people are still using what I created 19 years ago is really amazing. But I take what I did in the past and I repurpose it, and I think, how can I make that better? And I just keep growing with it. We've evolved from traditional, we have when men, when pets, when kids, fragrances, candles, it's really exploded. Skincare, it's really exploded. It really, really has. So follow your passions, follow your dreams. And again, when we're talking about the jobs that you're in, we're not always in the jobs we want to be in, but you should always be following your passion. You should never, I've never, thank God, had a day of work, even when I was in high school, that I regretted going to work. I was washing dishes at a pizza place or cooking at a pizza place, but I still enjoyed that, and I would still then go to beauty school, and I would go out dancing. I always have enjoyed, and a part of it is my dad worked for Prudential Life Insurance his whole year. He was a computer analyst. He never liked his job, and I knew growing up, like, I didn't want that life, and I love my dad, but he did it to put food on the table for a family. My mom drove a school bus for disabled kids, and she didn't. It's not that she wasn't passionate about her job, but she did what she had to do to put food on the table for us. So I always knew I want to do something that I'm excited going to work for, and I'm passionate about, and that's the only way you can create. If you're not excited about it, it's hard to create in an environment that you're not excited or passionate about.
And as we get older, we fall into the right shoes, right? I was a busboy at a pizzeria too, I get it. I ate so many garlic knots. I was a busboy at a pizzeria, but it led me to learn. I remember waiting on a table they threw me in to wait on a table of deaf people, and I'd never had to communicate before without words. And I took their orders, and I was recommending things on the menu, and I was able to communicate with people. And I've worked with people now as a stylist that can't speak with me, either because they don't speak English or because they're deaf. And moments like that, you look back and you're like, oh my God, that one cute little moment where I really learned how to use body language helped me 10 years later. Maybe that was the only reason I was ever in that job. Who knows? And also, by the way, Chaz, as you talk about all these products, I just need you to come out with the YENSA spa. Like, I need to spend a day with Chaz Dean with massage, hair care, everything, because it just sounds so yummy.
You're getting close, because I'm opening my first ever salon in New York City.
How about that? Great.
And that's been in the works for a long time. So the first time, fall 2000, Greenwich Village, West Village.
I can't wait till the party this fall. All right, do we have any questions from the audience? I think we could take one question. Anyone dying? Okay, yeah, right there. Can we just ask? I would love to know. Let's nip this off with a little question from the audience. How's the support from our parents? Raise your hand if you get support by your parents on stage. Ish? Raise your hand if you get support by your parents in the audience. Raise your hand if you don't get support by your parents, but you found someone else. Right? There's people out there, and if you don't have them, you have us. That's why we're here. The MC community is there, especially for those who don't have parents who support them.
Yeah,
Cry a little bit.
you have to
Feel
follow
nice.
your passion. That's the most important part, guys. I'm grateful that my parents did. I'm so grateful for it. But I do see it in the industry. I mean, I see it all the time that their parents want to do this, or that. It's not their life. It's your life. And they have to understand that. And if they don't, you have to go on with your life. You get this chance one time, guys. Don't blow it.
And never be afraid to reinvent yourself. Start over and reinvent yourself too.